Check it out. What's it all about? It's raining outside. Hello, listeners. This is the Trusty Crowbar podcast. Thanks for tuning in this week. I'm Lucas Whittingslow.
I'm Reese Whittingslow.
Douglas Bryant.
And we actually have a very special guest this week, all the way from Melbourne, Australia, as people like to say. All the way over there, we have Nicholas McDonnell. How are you, mate?
Hey, nice to see you guys.
Now, we should point out Nicholas is the co-founder of Samurai Punk.
Yep.
And one of the developers of Screencheat, which is a game which we've all played and done a video of us raging at each other.
One game that we actually have played together.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't do that very often because we hate each other.
So I think
No, we don't really.
I think we should ask you to just give us a bit of an idea of like Screencheat and tell us about it, and then we'll just ask you a few questions about development and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, sure thing. So, Screencheat is a split-screen shooter where everyone's invisible and you have to screencheat. It's been developed out of Melbourne since the Global Game Jam in 2014, where we came up with a prototype of it. And since then, we've released it on Steam in October last year, and now we're releasing it when we can on Xbox. And
When you can.
Basically us when we can, because it's, like we're a team of 3, and only one of our programmers is doing the other programmer is doing the porting work. So it's not like we can really deliver on a timeline that a big studio can.
Yeah.
So we're sort of
Give
saying
us an idea
it's
of
like,
the.
yeah. Sorry,
Give us an idea of the. No, you're right. Give us an idea of the game jam that you went through to like come up with the idea and stuff.
Yeah. So the game jam was the theme for the jam was we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are, and that was the theme for 2014's Global Game Jam, and we did that based out of Melbourne. So we came up with we wanted to make like cooperative games where everyone could sort of communicate across screens, but multiple screens, and sort of discuss what was on their screen and use it to achieve an objective. But the problem was we didn't have time to do networking, and if we did it in a split screen, then everyone would just screen sheet instead of actually playing it properly.
Yeah.
So we decided to take that that flaw into a mechanic and build the original prototype for Screencheat, which is still available currently in its rawest form on globalgamejam.org.
Oh, really? So you can still get that early
You
version
can still
of it?
play the single map, disgusting level design version of Screencheat.
Just the slap together. Like, did you say it was
feel
48
sick as
hours?
Yeah, it was in 48 hours. We had, one map, one gun.
So I pay for
one
it like a
soundtrack.
sucker.
Yeah.
So did you all studied at the same college? Is that right?
2 of us studied at Swinburne through to 2013, and then one of them the other guy is at RMIT, or was at RMIT, sorry.
Yeah.
But we actually all met at Global Game Jam 2013, which was very cute. So a year after we met, we started working together on that, and then since then we've been developing full time on it.
How did you just go from like studying to then making your own studio and stuff to work on your own game? Like, what are the steps there involved? Like,
There are a lot of
hey, I just finished
very
school
complicated
and-
steps.
Sorry?
Yeah, because we had just finished uni, and we had just finished the jam, and we had this prototype, and we're like, well, it's pretty good, we should probably make it into a full game. So we had to go through a lot of business things to get that in place, and then selling IP, selling accounting, was a lot of work I had to learn. Fortunately, I was in a good position where my father owns a company, so I was able to learn a lot from him. It's just like, it's one of the situations where if anyone else is doing it, I'd suggest that they find like a mentor who knows what the process is, because you can't find every little piece of information online. It's just like business management is just too scattered, like the different parts of it and the things you'll trip up on. And now, fortunately, we're working out of a space where other developers are around, and we're able to get assistance in those areas as we move forward with more complex issues.
Because it seems like game design, like there's a lot of games that pop up out there, and like Kickstarter's a huge thing nowadays, and it's like, hey, I've got a game and back me, and then I'll continue making it. Or it's like, hey, I've completely finished a game, and now I'm going to start selling it and hopefully make some money out of it and stuff. But you guys have gone through the prototype stage and then been able to work on a development.
The company started before the prototype was anywhere past the prototype. The company was established in March, actually to release a mobile game we'd be making on the side. And then we coincidentally had this prototype. We were like, well, let's use that company we just established to make this full PC game. And yeah, it's gone really fast into there, which is great. Like, we didn't expect to, we didn't expect to get Steam, we didn't expect to be at PAX Prime, and we're like, it's been fantastic since then.
I remember it popping up like everywhere. When I first heard about it, I was like, what is this Screencheat? And then I read like the little blurb and I was like, that sounds exactly like I used to play. I mean, no, I didn't. I wasn't cheating.
You cheated.
Yeah, I know, all the time.
Yeah.
And like, it sounded just like a really fun, just co-op game and stuff. So that's why we all decided to grab it and give it a go and show Doug what it was like to play back in the 64 days.
And what it was like to have friends.
Yeah, exactly. And I was terrible.
Yeah. So.
Very bad at the game. Now, did you keep to the traditional way of when you made your company that you moved into someone's basement, or did you actually go into an office straight away?
No, we all worked out of someone's basement for the first 8 months. No, longer than that. For the first 10 months of development.
Did you have to make it look dankier than what it was? Like, you went in there and added like mold to the walls and...
It's worse than someone's basement. We actually lived in our parents' houses mostly.
Yeah.
So I was in Sydney for until July last year, and the other two developers were working at a home. One of them had a full-time job most of the year. He only quit early this year. So we were all kind of like ghettoing it together. And the fact that we've managed to release a PC game during that was kind of impressive.
Yeah, this is awesome. So that is Screencheat. Did I read it's like fully out yet, or it's still in alpha?
It's fully out on PC.
Yeah,
but we're continuing to develop it as we go towards console. And now we're bringing all that content we've been developing for PC, as the game's nearly doubled in size, onto the console versions.
Yeah, tell us what the steps are for like PC development. Actually, let's run through that first and stuff, because we're all interested in development. Like, we back a lot of games like on Kickstarter, and we like early access to get an idea, and we love reading how developers like work on games and everything there and stuff. So like the game itself, like what development platform did you use? What was the engine, I guess, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so it was programmed in C#, based in Unity. So, as like I said, there's 3 developers. We all had completely unique skill sets. So we had a lead programmer, lead UI, and myself. I did level art, level design, sound design, and a couple of other like smaller areas like animation and stuff. But and then on top of that, we basically had Steam very early because of our publisher. So it worked by producing builds, and then I would develop them. I would push them onto Steam in a private beta. And then this is back in May, I guess, or maybe even earlier than that. And when I have a sort of an internal set of testers, and we worked like that until we did our public beta in like August, so, maybe it was July. So, from like March until July, we were in an internal beta where we had, basically, thanks to Steam, we were able to push builds really quickly. So, the concept of pushing a 500 meg game onto Dropbox and then distributing a build is kind of scary. So the advantage of having Steam is that you can push incremental builds. So if you have a 500 meg game and 50 meg of it changes in a patch, then it only uploads 50 meg. So on the horrible Australian internet, you're actually able to iterate very fast and get it tested.
Yeah.
And very easily distribute it, because the people you are testing with only have to download that 50 meg.
Yeah.
So you're uploading almost nothing and they're downloading almost nothing. So you can actually make a build and turn it around in 30 minutes and have it, be playtesting it, which is really important for a game, considering I was living alone in Sydney for the majority of development. So playtesting all the level designs is practically impossible without online play.
Yeah. So where did you guys initially begin when you decided to make it? Like, you had the prototype, but where do you guys start? Like, did someone just come up with did you come up with drawing concepts? Hey, this is what we're going to do, or someone just decided to code? Or
the prototype? You mean before the prototype even existed?
Yeah. Run us through that.
Yeah. So the prototype came out of the jam, like I said, and we came up with it and sort of came up with the core tenets of the game essentially in about 4 hours, which was where we made, because a lot of the elements of that first prototype really defined what we took onto the final game, which was, we knew that we wanted to make a game about screen cheating, and we knew that it was going to be a first-person shooter, and we knew the first-person shooters that we liked were a lot faster than what was currently being made. By faster, I also mean looser, so very loose jumping, loose gravity, none of the shitty colliders, the really tight maps. You're able to like explore the entire space.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then the core tenets of the design were basically screen cheating. Every gun is one shot kill, and no rapid fire weapons. So that first weapon we made was the blunderbuss, which kind of defined all the weapons going forward, as it was the milestone of power level that we brought everything up to.
Yeah.
How did you come up with pinata mode? That's the big question.
We wanted to make oddball, but we couldn't do oddball, so we put a pinata in its place. That's the honest answer. Because once we moved on from the prototype, which was pretty like a fairly like serious application of the game, we wanted to make the game have a different tone visually and different aesthetic. So outside of the fact that the mechanic is really strange, we just went all the way with the art. Like you can tell, all the weapons are really, really strange. So we're like, if you're going to be carrying around something as like a scoring object, what the hell is it? So.
Well, the whole idea of the game, like it did, like visually looking at it, just looks fun. That's like the benefit of the game. Like it's a game that you need to play with all your friends.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to be comfortable with swearing at each other a lot.
Yeah.
And getting punched in the arm and
So,
pushed over.
Are you a screen cheater yourself? Like when you played
yeah, I totally was.
Goldeneye?
I mean,
and all that?
everyone says they weren't, but everyone actually was.
Yeah,
And even
that's right,
us, I was.
Lucas. Very good screen cheat. So, I'm just trying to think.
Well, okay, so you said it's coming out Xbox One.
Yeah.
What's the change of development when you go to there? Like, I guess, tell us, like, ID at Xbox, I guess you guys joined that.
Yeah, ID at Xbox has been really good. The only, like, the real change is the fact that we have to port the game. We had to change engine, so we had to move from Unity 4 to 5, which was a big shift. And we also have to import all their libraries, switch out Steam for Xbox Live, basically, in every instance. We have to hit their certification, which is actually good because it means the standard for the game, like, it's going to become a lot more bug-free, basically. By the time we sort of call it done, it'll be a much smoother experience. Just because it'll have to be much smoother.
Less
You can get away with
exploits, so it's bug-free.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot of stuff on PC, but on Xbox you just can't. Yeah, so it's basically just like replacing Steam stuff with Xbox, and then unfortunately we have to rewrite our netcode. So
Is that a big job?
That's the current. That's not my job, fortunately, but that's my programmer's current hell is rewriting our netcode.
You just get
This is what
messages
Xbox
every
like.
day. It's like, this is terrible. And you're like, yeah, I drew a picture. It was really good.
Yeah, no, I made the model for a coin today, as well as some other things, and he was sitting there writing netcode. It's super fun for him.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, I didn't explain before, but after we worked out of our parents' places, we all moved into an office January this year. So we all work out of the single space now, which has drastically improved development. Can't tell you how much you should never work remotely, especially when you're working with people you haven't worked with for a long time. So we could probably go remote now, but working remotely for the first time together is pretty rough.
Yeah. But it'd be good because you can just bounce off one another.
Yeah, it's really smooth, and communication just speeds up really fast.
Yes. Did you mention before that you're working there with other developers and stuff?
Yeah, it's a space in Melbourne called the Arcade, and we've got about 20 other developers in the office.
Okay.
I would say. So Big Ant are below us in the bottom level, and then above on our level we've got Many Monkeys, 10 Man.
Yeah.
Many Monkeys just released Breath of Light. 10 Man make Gamebook adventures. Wander is to my left. Greer is to my right. And then above us we've got League of Geeks making Armello. What else is there? The GDAA, which is the Game Developers Association, are in the same building. So it's a lot
It's
of...
got all these people you can just be like, oh, I'm interested in what you're doing. Let me just go check it out.
How many ideas do you steal?
I don't steal a single idea. The thing is, there's a lot of collaboration within the office. I mean, a lot of people, you go around and I've got this artist I go to talk to about how much I hate Unity 5's new lighting solution, and we just bitch about the AO being terrible now. So it's basically like being in a big office. If you're working in a AAA studio, you've got a lot of people you can talk with.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're not making the same game, so it's when you go to someone else's office, you see all this different art on the walls, and you can talk about what they're working on, as opposed to being like, So how's that level going? It sounds pretty good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My tree looking pretty good at the moment. Yeah.
I did a coin.
The water cooler talk there would be the most interesting to me. It's like Unity 5. It's just
Is there a reason that you picked Unity over Unreal or any other engine that you were working with?
Basically, it was experience. We developed with it for 2 years beforehand. No, I personally had about a year and a half's experience with it. My programmer is proficient in C#. That is the main language for Unity. The UI artist was proficient with UI in it. So
Is Unity easy to pick up?
Yeah. Also, as we just come out of university, and that was what we learned at university.
Yeah.
And I was self-taught mostly because my university was horrible. So I teach there now.
So we won't plug that university.
Teach there now.
I teach there now, so now I would go and study there for sure.
like, yeah, university, it's fantastic.
So when you actually start cloning, then you'll be able to send yourself back and be like, hey, this is what you should have been taught.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be alright.
That's fantastic. Like, how did you get the job of teaching now? Like, I'm interested in that.
I was the first person to get a job out of my university since Alexander Bruce.
I don't know.
So Alexander Bruce made Antichamber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love that one. That was great.
Everyone's just like, oh, we really like that.
Yeah.
But
And
didn't
he came out of that degree a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He came out of the double degree, which is the programming end of it.
And he made another
and I
colourful
think-
game as well.
Yeah, very.
Lucas
Maybe-
actually finished that game.
Yeah, I did.
Maybe
That's one
Swinburne.
game Lucas finished.
I'm guessing Swinburne just likes colourful games. Is this correct?
Yeah, probably. But yeah, like it's a really shitty industry to be in at the moment in Australia if you're not making indie games.
Yeah.
So I think they picked me up. One, because I actually genuinely wanted to improve the course because I had such a negative experience with it. So I've written a subject now that I'm currently teaching, and it's going pretty well because I'm trying to introduce things that just weren't introduced. But yeah, like myself and my other co-founder both came out of that university, and I think we're the only people to get game jobs since Alexander Bruce, and that's because we made our own job. There just isn't a lot going around.
Was there any business elements to your course, or do you think there should be going forward if there isn't?
Oh, there should be. Well, it's weird though. Not everyone needs to be the business guy.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it's always suggested you just take a minor in business if you want to be the person managing the company.
Yep.
I don't know. It's kind of weird because it's meant to be a creative degree and it's meant to be about learning how to either produce just good design or good art or good programming, or a mix of the three if that's what you're into. And you know, you don't necessarily have to be the business guy to be in indie, but it definitely pays. Like, you can always have your guy you contract to just help you once a week with business stuff, and that's great. But some people like us like to micromanage every single little aspect of things.
Yep.
So, like, the way that you're kind of saying it is, if you want to be in the industry, you got to do it yourself. You got to...
At the moment, there's lots of studios, but they're all small and don't offer many jobs.
Yeah.
Basically. Hopefully, like, we can build into from indie to AA and, like, get some size, you know, and build into this, like, high quality, moderate to small size games kind of industry. But until then, we basically just have to start our own things, or, you know, skill up by making games on your own and releasing them and getting experience, because outside of that, you have to be very talented to get a job overseas.
Yeah, well, we did have a few big development studios, like Team Bondi was big, and then that got dissolved. I think the only big one that we got left is the guys that made the Don Bradman cricket game. That's
They are Big Ant, and
That's Big Ant, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And they're in the office below me. They're pretty big, but yeah, there's not a whole lot floating around, so it's just a weird situation to be in.
What is the course that you're actually teaching?
I'm teaching a subject called games production, which is it's basically an introduction to dealing with source control, working in teams, using collaborative software, and also an introduction to Unity. So this is for first years, so the idea is like a really not low level as much as a really intensive early course to sort of get the point across that this is, one, a very hard industry to work in, two, very collaborative industry, and three, you need to learn tools because no one makes their own engines anymore.
No.
And when I say no one, people do it, but like, you know,
It's just too much of a dick.
You don't have time to make your own engines.
Well, not now that most of the big engines have just been released for free. Like,
Yeah, well, Unreal's not really free.
well, yeah,
I did the maths on how much I would owe Unreal. I'm not using Unreal at that. I would pay a license. It's quite expensive. Unity's basically free though. I mean, it's like, if you make over 100,000 a quarter, you only have to pay for a license per team member, which means my team would be paying a grand total of 4.5 thousand, which is pretty good for a license for an engine, and it's like, that's per version too, so.
Sorry, that's good, yeah.
Now, we're giving away some copies of Screencheat.
What game? We've forgotten.
Did we get 1 or 2 keys of it, Doug?
2?
Or Nick? Did you give us 2 keys?
I can provide more if necessary.
We'll give them to everybody.
Screencheat for you, it's under your chair.
So Doug's posted up on the Twitters the question, which was,
I can't remember.
what was an experience that you had when you screen cheated? Is that right?
A funny screen cheat experience.
So we're just gonna shoot out a tweet again, possibly, because did anyone?
Yeah.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
did.
good. We'll send some more out.
You're going to make me some nice art.
I'll get there. I'll do it.
Thank you.
And then so hopefully some people can win one of your games or your game, and then send it out there and get them to play, and then they can talk about it as well.
Yeah, cool.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
I got a question. The logo for Screencheat,
Yeah.
did you come up with that?
We kind of co-developed it. It was like, we had a couple of ideas coming around, and then we sort of moved around between the entire team, and then we threw it off to another artist to just kind of like do a different revision of, and he threw back what we kindly sort of finished with. But I personally did not develop logo. I'm an artist in the more traditional sense. I don't make graphic design.
Yeah.
I don't detest it. I'm just really bad at it.
When you said that you do the sound design and all that, so did you do
Yeah.
all the audio for the game?
Everything but the music.
Oh, okay, yeah. So with the sounds, do you make the sounds from scratch, or do you manipulate other audio files that you get?
Have you got your own little
It's-
Foley studio where you got like cabbage and like a little...
I wish. I mean, like, that's kind of this like really cute little hobby I really want to get into.
Yeah.
Just like borrow some audio equipment and start doing that. No, unfortunately, I am limited to public domain audio because of budget, and
That's the artist,
a lot
Doug,
of
public domain.
work in Audacity. I do a lot of like compositing of audio, so instead of just taking one sound and tweaking it, I will layer multiple sounds and lower, bring one pitch up, and then use that to create a whole different like tonal range. So the engine sound for the Chevrolet is not actually a car engine.
Yeah. What's the program you use?
For sound, Audacity, it's free, it's great.
Yeah.
It's like Audition, but like super minimal, it's low overhead, and it does most of what you need it to do.
Well, I think we should point out we use Audacity as well. We're up
I'm
there
using it
with
to
the
record my
indie
audio right
development.
now.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what we got sitting over there. It's just recording this whole thing, so
That's
Yeah.
a good thing.
hopefully it is. But
So, and you're making another game, or you've made another game? Is this right?
I've made I've made like 10 games or 11 games now.
well ahead of us.
Yeah.
No, at the moment we're not developing another game. We're just trying to finish Screencheat. We're close. My video just dropped.
How come you guys settled on Xbox One over PlayStation 4?
At the moment, I really can't talk about it actually.
Right, there we go.
But yeah, we've announced Xbox One, and that's currently what we're developing for, and it's coming out when it's coming out.
Yeah. Is it easy to develop for?
It's been pretty good. I've been impressed with the performance, which I was dreading, because the game runs 4 screens, which means 4 times the performance hit of a normal game or of a normal shooter.
Yeah. And
You
you're
have to render 4
gonna
cameras.
be running at 1080p, 60 frames per second.
Yep, with 8 players,
With 8, did you say 8 players?
with 8 screens. It's ludicrous how I can make that many draw calls render that fast.
Wait, you've been said 8 players.
Yeah, we've got 8 players support.
Holy shit! Is that for multiplayer, or is that local co-op?
Local and online.
So you get 4 online, and then you get 4 on another.
No, local and online is in you can play with 8
Oh,
controllers
holy
locally.
Yeah,
crap.
so you see...
Xbox One supports 8 controllers. So does PC.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think we may be the first game that utilizes 8.
That's
controllers.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's really
I
good.
believe you guys will be the first to utilize more than 4.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
I
fact
think there's a
that
lot of
go for it.
there's a lot of Sony games that use more than 4 controllers currently, but the PS4 doesn't support.
No.
I think
Which
they
is kind of
support
annoying.
there's 7 controllers max, I think, with the Bluetooth range.
Yeah,
The fact that you will have 8 people playing on one console, Like, there'll be a lot of people getting calls to the cops thinking that someone's getting murdered. There'll be that many people screaming their heads off and going mental about it.
I think that's fantastic. And that you can do that full 8 players over the internet.
Yeah.
So I guess
if it works locally, it works online, basically. Yeah. The layout is kind of like Brady Bunch.
Yep.
So
what size television would you recommend?
I would recommend playing that on at least a 45-inch.
Yeah.
At least.
At least.
I know I've played it successfully on a 27, but that's because I'm sitting in front of it like a computer and I'm playing online. It's meant to be kind of like for parties or for projectors at events.
Probably going to become the new sales pitch at most of the shops. You're going to go, are you going to play Screencheat or not? If you are, you need at least this 70-inch TV over here.
And you need 8 controllers. You need to buy extra controllers for your Xbox.
We have always said that we want more local, like, multiplayer games. Co-op. Screencheat's not co-op.
No, but we'd have co-op as well.
Yeah.
It seems like there was a bit of a resurgence, like at the time when Screencheat came out, of this local multiplayer game.
I mean, the game we played at the Global Game Jam, the morning of the jam, was Nidhogg. So I think competitive and cooperative local multiplayer games are kind of in fashion at the moment. Maybe it's a fashion that won't die, unlike roguelikes and retro indie platformers and survival games. Because there's always a fashion with indie games of what needs to be made.
Yeah.
You probably need more zombies in Screencheat.
Yeah, more crafting elements, right?
Yeah, definitely. What's your favourite weapon in Screencheat?
One, actually, it's a gun I haven't released yet.
Oh,
yeah. I
the
can't talk
Xbox
about
controller.
It's coming out soon, and it's really good.
It's an 8 tails. It's just 8 Xbox controllers attached to one, just whipping it, smashing people in the face from it, just damaging, absolutely damaging. So there is what's the other game that we were looking at? I'm pretty shit with my research. There's an iPhone game, is that correct, that you've made?
Oh yeah. Oh god. Yeah, that's almost embarrassing now, because it's only been a year. It's been like a year since we released that, and I'm already like, I'm fucking done with this game. I was done with it when we released it, and now I'm just like, I don't.
Like, should we withdraw this one because this one's so good? Like,
well, that's kind of like with everything I make. Like, I've released I think I've made about 10 games since I started making games, and each one incrementally is just like, becomes more, the older they are, the more embarrassing they are. Except the one where you're a bear that shits in the woods. That one's still good.
What's called? You're a bear?
Yeah, no, it's called Bear Attack, and you eat people, and then you can build up poo, and then you shit to grow trees.
Brilliant.
It's pretty
brilliant. I love the story. Like,
it's a very good
emotional
backstory. These
it's a really deep narrative.
Yeah.
But yeah, our mobile game has lots of design problems, but I'm still pretty proud of the fact that we managed to pull off a game that complicated, and people really liked it. The people who played it. So that was kind of nice, and it was a good opportunity for us to just get used to releasing our first game, which I've always, whenever I'm talking to students, I'm always like, the most important thing as a young developer is just make stuff, release it, and get feedback on it, even if it's 20 people online telling you you're shit and you should stop making games.
Like literally, like just bad shit.
Literally, those are some comments I have on some of the web games we made.
People asked us to stop doing a podcast. I said no.
Get rid of this host and the.
Not me. I got to keep stay on it.
But we just we pursue.
Have you had much
persevere?
Have you had much criticism for Screencheat?
Not as much as I was expecting, or that there should be.
Yeah.
Do you pay attention to it? Is probably the thing.
We pay attention to as much as it needs to pay attention to it. Like, we've still got a plan with it, and we're still developing it, and we're still putting it on the platforms, and people like it, and people are giving us, like, a pretty good rating. Like, so our Metacritic is 70, but our Steam rating is 97%.
Yeah, I did notice
with
that.
331 reviews, so, I mean, that might say something, but then again,
pretty good effort.
Reviews, our Metacritic reviews were all fairly old at the original release, whereas most of our actual Steam reviews, about 50% of them, came well after the release. After we did some stuff with Humble and got a lot of sales from that, and then a lot of people came in and started playing. So, as we've been developing the content, sort of like the complaints about the game are going down, which is nice, because there were a lot of initial things where it's like, it's pretty good, mechanics are solid, gameplay's really fun, there's almost no content. Which pissed me off, because...
It's like, I'm working on that, just calm down,
well,
right?
It's not even that I'm working on it, I just think people are too fucking entitled. I mean... we're charging $15 for it to have 5 maps and have 8 weapons, all of which are completely different. And then they're trying to compare it to like Call of Duty,
the amount of weapons.
Sorry?
I was blown away by the amount of weapons, actually. I thought there was heaps.
Yeah, we just get told, there's not enough weapons, not enough maps. And it's maybe COD has 15, maybe 10 to 15 maps on release, and 30 weapons. Except all the weapons are the same.
Yeah, you just use
they're
one.
just a different machine gun that shoots at a different rate of fire with a different amount of damage.
If you just
And
on
reloads
the
at
hour,
different speed.
every hour just said plus XP in front of each person, I think that would solve all of your issues and stuff. I'm earning experience points with this weapon.
Oh, we added experience. It's just an arbitrary number that just goes up. It's a fantastic.
Just goes up. It's like gamer score, you know?
Yeah, is there going to be a gamer score for... I was wondering that too, for Xbox.
We will be tying all our achievements to gamer score. As I believe that's still a thing. I don't know. I haven't... The Xbox One in our office is the first Xbox I've had since 2011. So I've been out of the console area for a while, so it's been kind of nice to sort of see that platform again. And I think if Gamer Store is still a thing, we'll be tying it to our achievements. That's
It is totally still a thing.
I think it's become like a mandatory thing now.
Yeah,
Gamer score.
Like 1,000 points is the what you have to put in. But I'm not too sure about any of the games, so that could be a bit different.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I haven't read the cert on it yet. We've got lots of achievements already written up that are proper achievements. Most of them are quite hard. I believe outside of the first 5, which are picked up by the 10% of the people playing.
Yeah,
we have a hit rate of about 1% on the achievements. So I'm proud of the difficulty level there.
So this is where you'll get all your criticism from.
Yeah, because the achievements are too hard to get, and no one can get 100%.
Yeah, people just want 5-hour games where you get 1,000
Gamer
score.
yeah, that's
and then they trade them in a
this
DB.
small,
And
You're ruining people's lives.
I know. I'm ruining their perfect numbers.
Yeah. Horrible.
10,000 XP. Listen to this episode of the podcast.
Yeah. Gamification should be everywhere.
Yeah.
That's right. Do you have any more questions for Screencheat?
No, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty happy.
I think the big question is, what have you played this week?
Screencheat.
There's the correct answer.
No, I played one round of Binding of Isaac at Easter. That's Binding of Isaac Rebirth. I played one round of it.
Is
That's
this
the
like
other game I played this
The
week?
game that you go back to just when you're bored?
It's installed on my laptop, and I have my laptop with me in Sydney, so I played a round of it because I was bored of drinking.
So, your love for games, obviously, and then making a game just takes away that love for games because you just have to put so much time into it. Is that right?
It doesn't take away my love for games as much as
Time.
it's just time. It's just time. Like, if I had the time, I would still be playing games. When I was developing in Sydney, I was still managing to slip in, an hour every night or two. And, actually managed to stay up to date.
That's still more than most of us.
Yeah.
Since I moved back out of home, it's been kind of between commuting, cleaning, cooking, and then working 8 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't really have time to play any games.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to keep up to date with everything.
Do you ever just start doing actual Screencheat work while you're pretending to teach the course?
Yes.
Yep.
It's like, I'm just all your students.
Typing.
I have 3-hour tutorials, and I just have there's just code up on the blackboard, and they're why is on the blackboard on the whiteboard, and it's being projected up there. And it's why are you writing code? He's oh, don't worry about this.
You just pass off these assignments to the students. He's write code for this thing to do this.
Yeah.
And then just copy paste. Yeah, there we go, done.
Good job. Thanks, guys. Let's just hope that your bosses don't actually watch this podcast.
He is the boss.
Yeah.
No, of the actual university.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we've talked trash about them.
He does follow me on Twitter. Nah, he's cool.
He's all good about it. He's like, yeah, man,
No.
it doesn't matter. Just make him make some games. That'll be right. You'll be good.
Nah, he
with
makes
that.
games as well. It's great.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
All right. So, what is your all-time favorite video game?
Can we pick by platform?
You
Yeah,
can pick,
absolutely.
You can pick whatever you. Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay.
No, just the one. By platform.
Oh my god. Okay.
These are the hard questions.
Yeah, enough about Screencheat.
Mountain Blade Warband on PC.
What
I think.
is that?
It's
someone
you
knows
should
it.
explain it better because you've played
Okay.
it. So.
It's an open world RPG that's mostly about politics and horse combat. I would say
The politics
that's the bulk
of
of the
horse
game.
combat.
Yeah, it's got the two things that are really good. Is it's essentially a roguelike where you're placed into a world that's static. Everyone starts the world in the same state, and then from there the narrative and the AI are completely procedural, and their actions are based on the actions of other players or the other AI in the game. And it's about warring fiefdoms and kingdoms, and you're basically just a person, and you can become a bandit, or you can become a king, or a jarl to you can become a vassal to the jarl and then help him, like, take over another kingdom, or you can just siege castles and die.
It sounds just like Crusader Kings, but probably a lot better than...
It's like the minute part of Crusader. Like, if Crusader Kings was set in one country and you played as a guy and his army...
It sounds like you've sunk a lot of time into this.
Only like 200 hours, it's not that bad.
I recently read that GOG.com allowing like games that you've purchased, like physical copies, and you've got a key, that you can then copy that key onto their website and they'll give you the digital copy on your account. And
it's for two different publishers letting you do that,
Yeah, and this is one of the games that allows you to do that, so...
I wish all the consoles did that. That'd be nice.
Well, I think we still have like copies of like those LucasArts games, so if keep those keys because like if they allow us to do
Did
that.
they even have keys back then? I just installed the game.
I think it was
I had to go to page 6 of the manual and go to paragraph 3.
All right, Leisure Suit Larry. We know what games you were playing back then.
Pixelated boobies. So yeah, other consoles that you were not consoles.
I played a hell of a lot of Xbox when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So
this was 360 or original Xbox? What were you?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I grew up on. I mean, I played like I played a little bit of 64. I played like Smash, I guess, when I was like 8 or 9. But basically, I didn't really start playing games until I got an Xbox One. So Xbox One is in Xbox Original. The original Xbox.
We've been over this quite a lot of times. Wait, Doug, the original Xbox, not the first one. That one.
Yeah. So I played a hell of a lot of Halo, I'll be honest.
Yeah. We read that the Screencheat was a bit of GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and Halo all mixed in.
Mostly Halo.
But inspiration.
I'll be honest, it's mostly Halo. I don't think, like, there's this weird, like, thing where our publisher think we played a lot of GoldenEye, and the reality is we played a hell of a lot of Halo, and played about a grand total of 5 hours combined between us on GoldenEye.
Yeah. 5 hours.
Probably between us, about 5 hours at most.
Far out.
So yeah, it's mostly Halo 1, and I played a lot of Halo 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went downhill.
I just like throwing sticky bombs on Halo 1 in cooperative mode on your friend and then laugh when they run around and got exploded.
I did that with Ben when we got the Halo Master Chief collection and stuff, and like he's like, yeah, we'll get through the original, like the story of the game, and I just kept throwing sticky bombs at him, and then he's like, nah, that's it, it's over. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, I tried Halo 4 for half an hour, gave up.
Yeah, it's not amazing.
The multiplayer was fun.
Yeah. I played a small amount of the multiplayer. It was a Halo multiplayer game.
Did you get the idea of the pinata mode from Halo, in a way?
Yeah. Halo 2 or 3 had the game mode Oddball. And it's a variation of Oddball where, on top of getting points by carrying it, you get bonus points by getting kills.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want players to just run around forever, because not being visible, you can't really, like... You can take pot shots at people, but the pinata the design of the game just doesn't really benefit players just running forever, so we wanted to keep people... Even though they had the thing that was giving them points and making them target, we still wanted people to be in the fight. So by getting bonus points, you're kind of encouraged to fight with it.
It was the one mode I won. Yes.
I lost so bad in that mode.
Yeah.
I was terrible at it.
I still believe that I was the best one.
You definitely were.
You were. As soon as I got the pinata, though, like, somehow you guys were right beside me every time.
Yeah.
Whereas you got it, you would hide somewhere. And there's no place to hide in that game, but I have no idea how you hid somewhere.
Just good at it. Is it a good thing to be so good at a game where you screen cheat? Is that a bonus?
I think it is.
What? Is that even a question?
Yeah. By screen cheating when you
Would
play
it
other
be good
games.
to be good at the premise of the game? That's what you've asked.
Fuck off, Dad.
He just wants people to recognise how good he is at this game.
I was good at the game. The screen cheating is bad. It's wrong. It's a horrible thing to do. But not on this game.
I fortunately haven't played a single split screen game since I've been making Screencheat.
Yeah.
and I don't know what will happen if I go back to it, because I don't look at my own screen anymore.
Ever.
And it's a problem. I really don't. Because you
He's
don't
got
need
the
to.
Because you know all the levels and everything. Who is
I
the
made
best
the-
person in your team at the game?
Ooh.
Did you say you?
Me, and then just below me is my lead programmer.
Yep.
And then our GUI guy is like right down the bottom. It's not great.
He's the one who pays the bills.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I've got about 500 hours clocked in playtesting. Which on a game with 2.5 minute playtimes on the rounds, which is our average playtime if you're interested, is quite a lot of hours playing one game and playing about 10 maps in total. So,
Especially playing it through all the stages of development, like you would have so much memory of like when it was just super basic to what it is now.
Go to hide
Yeah, I can still
behind
see
a
the
wall
shell
that
of
no
the
longer
old
exists.
no, that's really bad when I'm like, I've been playtesting a level for a while, and then I go back into the cave and like start doing revisions. I'm like, I can change this, change this, and then I start playing it again. I'm like, I still walk on the map the way the old one flowed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I walk around a path and just hit a wall. I'm like, what the fuck is that wall?
Who put this wall here?
But you are the level designer, right?
Yeah, I do all the levels and art.
What a stupid idea!
Doug, did you have issues with your colour blindness in the game?
Yeah, I think there was a couple of colours. I suck in a few games.
So
and
Doug's a
definitely-
cat guy, by the way.
So, we have colorblind support, right?
I wondered, but we never went looking.
Hang on, does the colorblind support just a one player, or does it do it across all of them?
It does it across all, but that's actually an interesting thought.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking for the Xbox One,
It's
it
not
definitely would
really
be
possible
perfect.
to put it on just one player. It applies locally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it applies to anyone who's on the one kit, I guess.
yeah, so the colorblind guy's just going to ruin the game.
It actually makes it a little bit easier to play for everyone
Yeah.
in general. So what I do is I replace so you know how the map is broken into 4 quadrants of color.
Yeah.
So I replace all the colored parts of the map's textures with a color tinted pattern as opposed to a color tinted texture.
Right.
And the patterns are aggressively contrasted. So it's like dots, checks, triangles, and crosses.
Because the specific mode that I was terrible at was where you only had to kill the certain person.
In the
Yeah,
correct
in
color.
a certain
Yep.
color, and it come up with the cards of like where they were and whatnot.
Yeah. That was I went
Walking around
really
like,
badly.
Was that yellow? Or is that what?
I was good at it.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking for a moment, like I was thinking the colorblind mode, everything's just going to be brown, and I was going to be like, this is going to be terrible for us, but perfect for Doug, which is like, yay!
No, I kind of wanted to do like just a color switch because I have a filter I can turn on my computer which makes the screen appear as a colorblind person would see it in the different stages of colorblindness. Because
that's a good idea.
it's a little app called Color Oracle, so graphic designers out there should definitely pick it up because it's free mostly. And I use that to basically be like, so this level has technically 2 colors for someone with this amount of color blindness, so that's great because everything is in quadrants.
They're on the red.
They're on red. Which red?
What
the
is red?
slightly darker red.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, it's because you're having the Xbox One over the internet and stuff, whoever is colorblind then could technically have their own screen as the colorblind one, which...
Because it applies to your local machine. Like, online play with split screen is basically just... The sort of non-technical term is, you're playing on your Xbox, and then they send the signals over with basically where their position and where they're shooting and where they're looking is. And then you're just running their position on your console. It's just a simulation of what their actions are. So, by putting colorblind on and affecting the entire map, you're only affecting your version of the map.
Yeah.
Or your instance of the map.
What's the biggest and worst problem that you ever came across while making the game?
Performance, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, and the design is just insane.
Is this a Unity 4 thing? You're at the
No,
water cooler and be like,
It's just because we made a split screen game, and there's a reason people don't make split screen as like a default thing anymore. It's not that easy, because people have like a quality bar that they want to hit for their console games, right?
yeah.
Or for their AAA games, I should say, not console necessarily. And getting that performance that they get, which is, not 30 all the time, and also making them look like they do. If you do split screen, you've got technically, yes, you're rendering the same resolution, but you're rendering 4 times the amount of camera. You're rendering extra cameras, which means extra draw calls, extra memory for everything. So it's actually a huge performance hit to render all that stuff.
Having 8 is super impressive. Like 8 players.
We get 60 with 8 players.
Yeah.
Which I was happy with. I wouldn't ship 8 player without 30. But the fact that we're getting 60 makes me really confident. The fact that the work I've been doing is a lot of, once the level's finished, I just aggressively optimize and batch things down so that it renders cheaper and it renders faster. That's why the game looks like kind of flat. We actually use the legacy of legacy shaders, diffuse. There's no dynamic lighting in the game. There's no specularity. There's no normal mapping. Everything is dead flat diffuse.
Well, that's what makes it so user friendly. Like, it's just easy to pick up because it's not.
It also runs on a wooden computer, which is nice.
Yeah.
So it runs on basically anything.
Yeah, we ran it on my Mac Mini. Just i5, 4 gig RAM, integrated graphics.
Screencheat's going to be the next Doom where everyone's like, does this run Screencheat? It's like, does this microwave run Screencheat?
Or your fridge. Fridges could do it.
But outside of the performance, which is mostly my problem, the design was just super challenging. Building modes, we were trying to we thinking through a lot of new game modes that are Screencheat specific. Thinking through weapons that only taking advantage of the fact that the game works as it does, we can build weapons that only we can build, or at least weapons that are more powerful because it's a screenshooting game. So a gun that's good in Screencheat isn't necessarily good in another game because it's you don't have the information that you have in Screencheat.
Yep.
Or level design is a whole another can of worms. The simple answer is we'll just color code everything; it'll work, right? That's a lie. Building, I threw out a lot of levels. Like a lot.
Really?
Yeah. So many
and you only
designs
did 8.
just don't work.
No, hang on, it was 5. You only did 5, man. Why did you
5
just give it to us all?
Only did 5 at release. Now have 8.
Yeah.
And we're going to 10.
Jeez Louise.
But I've done 4,000.
Yeah.
How proud of you... no, what? How proud of this game are you?
Hates it.
A lot more...
All right,
a lot more proud than I was last year, actually. There was kind of a slump in development. Basically, between PAX Australia and Christmas, basically, which was when I released a map that was basically half finished. And it was just pretty rough because I was still... Yeah, we didn't have an office, but we were still developing full time. I had a lot of issues going on personally, so it was just kind of hard to like the product I'd released. It was in the wild, reviews were coming in, and the press reviews were kind of shit, but the user reviews were really good. But I basically just looked at the press reviews.
Yeah,
just stupid. So I had a fairly negative experience until we got an office and things started to pick up again. But now that I've spent a lot of time revisiting a lot of thoughts about the game, revisiting design and beefing it up and making it as good as it can be, I'm not as down as I used to be, which is good. Much more of a positive thought on it, and hopefully when we finish it won't be negative at all. Things are starting to come together now, and we'll be pushing out our last patch, and it should be really exciting to see what people think of it. Things like 8 players should freak people out, so that's good.
Shit, yeah.
I was freaked out by that.
Yeah.
That's why I thought you were taking the mickey. You were just 8 players, ha 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 ha. And I was like, oh yeah, what? Really? What?
Yeah.
The fact that you can play this game for a minute and automatically have fun, that's something you should be proud of, because there's so many games out there that you could literally play for 5 hours in and you're just this is still shit. This game, just enjoyment straight away. And swear words.
Yeah. Well, I played, like I said, I play tested for about 500 hours, and I can still play it and enjoy it.
Now, does that come up on your Steam?
Yeah, if you go to my profile on Steam, you can see how many hours I've played.
Yeah.
Actually, it's nearly 600 on Steam, and it should actually be more like 700, but technically that's because the editor clocks every hour I'm in editor for as our playtime. But I wasn't on Steam. We weren't on Steam for the entirety of development.
Yeah.
So.
Far out. That is insane. That's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
At least you still enjoy the game.
Yeah, and I still enjoy it, I guess that's the best thing I can say. Because there is no other game I've made, except for the one about the pooping bear, that I still enjoy playing.
Yeah. Have you got any
Where
other...
can we find the Pooping Bear game?
Yeah, is that it?
I can. Yeah, it's been out. It came out a while ago. I can drop a link after this for you guys. It's just on Congregate. It's called Bear Attack.
Definitely, we'll get that off you.
500 hours for Doug.
500 hours.
Okay, when I first heard about this was probably after you guys released the first alpha, I guess, when everyone was sort of getting a go, and that was sort of the big explosion when I saw like I've read tons of like articles and stuff about Screencheat when it first launched. Like, was it just particularly from because of the game jam and stuff, or was it because you just sent it to a few articles and stuff? Like, well, I first heard about it from Kotaku. Like, that was...
We actually had a press release, the press leak at AVCon. We went to AVCon in July and didn't expect to get any press from it because it's an Australian event in Adelaide. Who thinks there's going to be anyone there?
Adelaide.
It's Adelaide, right?
That's it.
It's a small convention in Adelaide. We were there to get consumer feedback. We weren't there to get press. And someone was there from Kotaku who wrote about it, and then it got reposted on Eurogamer and Destructoid and Kotaku US and a couple of other sites. And it was just exploded. And then we had to rush out the website and a lot of other things, which was unfinished. And
you look at these reviews, someone copied our game. Oh, that was us.
Yeah, and the content online, super old screenshots were online, so it was a bit of a cluster. But once it was out, it was good to see people were really excited about it. And that was shortly before we did a month-long beta, and that was really cool. But we got a lot of the press because we did events. We did PAX Prime. And that got us a lot of our press, and it got us our relationships with our platform holders. And we did PAX Oz, and we got the showcase, and that was good. And we did AVCon, and the direct relationship between press and events is showing.
Has it allowed you guys to you got in a studio now? Is it allowed you guys to just be there and do this? This is your job. Enough to. Stay independent. You don't have to.
We're 100% independent as a company, which is good. And having an office is great from development's perspective, but also from morale. Having a space, going in, making tea, starting work.
Good old tea. We drink tea.
That's good. Wait, what tea though? And how do you make it?
Just black with milk.
That's not black at all. I believe that's called white.
It's it started off.
I don't discriminate between what's what. Alright, I just drink my tea and I mix.
The only thing you drink,
them together.
You just drink Lipton, and that is it.
Doug's been having Dilmar. Is it?
Dilmar. Yeah.
Dilmar.
I tried to give you Earl Grey.
I'm multicultural, man.
This is so weird. I'm not having this Earl Grey.
Earl Grey
it's literally just.
I have 200 bags of Earl Grey on my desk.
Yeah,
Earl Grey is the bomb.
Earl Grey is really good.
I actually have a tea
just
bag.
got recently is very nice as well.
I've got a tea bag tattooed to my leg. I like tea. It's good.
Okay,
it's good for you.
It's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the morale boost of being in a single space is really nice. Especially after working remotely for 10 months.
Awesome.
All right. I think that's
our time for the week.
As many questions as we can possibly ask you without you might fall asleep. It might be too long.
Nick, thanks heaps for coming on the podcast this week.
No problem.
I've had a great time asking you all this question. It's really great to get a bit of an insight into the development of an indie game like this.
And an Australian in the studio.
Specifically Melbourne, not just Australia.
That's right.
Exactly.
Melbourne. That is correct.
Awesome. Well, cheers. How can people find Screencheat? Give us a...
They can find it either by going to screencheat.com and seeing a million links, or by just going to Steam, Humble, or GOG and searching for Screencheat.
Awesome.
We'll probably have links under this video.
And again, like I said earlier, we're giving a couple of copies away.
Check that out
to
on
some
Twitter.
lucky people out there, so that'd be a good thing. Anyone can play it. It's a good game. And play it with all your friends.
I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah. 700 hours, you'd hope so.
I think it's okay. I mean, I haven't really formed a solid opinion of it yet.
And he's not sure on the wonky level design either.
It's like needs more levels, you know. That's it. Well, I'm Lucas Whittingslow,
I'm Reese Whittingslow.
I'm Douglas Bryant.
and thanks heaps, Nicholas McDonnell.
There you go.
Why did I pause?
You let him finish. It's a good sign off. All right, thanks, Nick. Thanks for being here.
Thanks very much.
Cheers,
well.
mate.
Hey there, all you trusty crowbars, it's that comic book guy. Do you enjoy comic books, or even superhero films? Then check out the Half-Tone Effect, where each week I chat to all the comic book gurus, and much more. Be sure to check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and all social media sites.